What's going on, boxing heads? It's your boy Pool Kind of Boxing. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, I want to talk about Errol Spence Jr. He said he's gonna retire Manny Pacquiao. We're gonna talk about that in this video. And you know, do me a favor and smash the like button and subscribe to my channel when you get time, and it helps the channel grow. Help your boy out. Okay, let's get into it. So Errol Spence Jr. He's a humble dude. He has a lot of respect for Manny Pacquiao. But as a competitor, he's going to come out there and he's going to try his best to KO Pacquiao point blank, because this is a big opportunity for Errol Spence Jr. Pacquiao, he's done a lot of amazing things over the years. He's a superstar. He's one of the greatest fighters of the last 20 years. Him and uh, Mayweather had some great fights. He fought he fought everybody basically, almost everybody that Mayweather fought. But in this fight, he's a little bit older, he's a little bit slower, and he's gonna have to pace himself against a younger, stronger, um, champion in his prime. And Errol Spence Jr. knows that this is a passing of the torch type moment. He knows if he performs well in this fight, that it could mean, his star explodes, and becomes even bigger. So he wants to make sure he brings his A game. And you can see he has the mindset of a young champion in his prime to ensure that he don't look bad against a 42-year-old legend. So it's just about the opportunity, and there's going to be a lot of Manny Pacquiao fans that don't like this comment by Errol Spence Jr. because of the status of Manny Pacquiao. He's a senator now, and he's all dignified. But let's not jump the gun now, because Manny Pacquiao talk a little bit of shit too. By saying Errol Spence is slow, and he's saying that he's not that fast, and he's been saying his little stuff too. But Errol Spence Jr. He's focused. He's focused on his career. He had the car crash and everything, and it just woke up something inside him to rededicate himself to the sport. And now that he's rededicated, he just want to clear out the division. He wants to move forward in his career. And prove that he's the best at 147. That's how I see it. And it's up to Manny Pacquiao to to try to be the underdog in this, even though he's not. We all know that Errol Spence Jr. is the underdog because of Manny Pacquiao's status. Yeah. Errol Spence Jr., really he hasn't been in the game that long, in the boxing game that long. Came around 2015, and shoot, by that time, Manny Pacquiao had how many championship fights? You know what I'm saying? Numerous. So, this is on a big stage. This is for all the stakes. This is for big time money. It's for big time gravitas. It's for it's for the next level. If Manny Pacquiao beats Errol Spence Jr., then you can almost consider him the greatest, one of the greatest fighters of all time. How many fighters? How many fighters of his age? How many fighters of his size? How many fighters come up, 8 weight divisions, even though one of them was made up. But you know what I mean. Um, come up that many divisions, and at this age, beat a younger champion in his prime. You know, that's not a lot. You can't think of it. Nobody really does that besides maybe a Floyd Mayweather. But even Floyd, is not coming out at 42 to fight a young boxing champion in his prime. That would be crazy, you know. And for Manny Pacquiao, a lot of people think Manny Pacquiao is crazy to even attempt something like this. Yeah, and it's kind of, if you think about it, it is kind of out there. But Manny Pacquiao, he claims that he still got that warrior fire. He beat Keith Thurman convincingly. He even hurt him in the 10th round. And we all know Keith Thurman is weak to the body, and clearly Manny Pacquiao was doing his homework because he really stuck it to him. And once Keith get hit in the body, he's about done. Well, luckily he got them wheels, he got them super wheels on him to keep him out of danger. But that said, Manny Pacquiao, he's gonna probably retire after this fight. I don't see him fighting anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like once you make this chunk of money, the only fight I can see left for Manny Pacquiao is maybe a Floyd Mayweather fight. But if he takes a beating in this fight with Errol Spence Jr., then I could see him taking a long break, and maybe he'll come back in a couple of years or something. If Floyd Mayweather want to do an exhibition bout, I could see him doing that. But taking any more fights after Errol Spence Jr., um, I don't think so, because Earl is, I know a lot of boxing fans don't believe that the Earl Spence Jr. that fought Danny Garcia is going to be enough to put a hurting on Manny Pacquiao. But you know what a lot of people who don't follow Earl Spence Jr. They don't understand is that Earl Spence Jr. is back with Blu-ray, and he's at the Blu-ray brings the best out of Errol Spence Jr. He fights at his peak because you get him in peak condition, and he does a lot of extra stuff to get himself prepared physically for the grind. So you'll be getting that Errol Spence Jr. that fought Kell Brook. You get that Errol Spence Jr. that fought Algeria. You'll be getting that Errol Spence Jr. that fought Lamont Peterson, and that's the one. That version of Errol Spence Jr. is a little bit more, not a little bit more, a lot more dangerous than the Errol Spence Jr. who wasn't training as hard when he fought Mikey Garcia, when he fought Sean Porter, and when he fought Danny Garcia. Well, in Danny Garcia, he was in recovery mode, but now that he's had time to like really, you know, get back into training, well, I think we're gonna see Errol Spence. We're gonna see a different version of Errol Spence Jr. because I think he's gonna be at his best. I think he's gonna be in top shape. I think he understands that he's 31 and that I think he want to go out fighting his last fights spectacular. He want to put on a spectacular performance, and I think he understands the moment, and I don't think he means any disrespect to Manny Pacquiao, but I think he's also getting in fight mode. And once you get in fight mode, you got to get mean. And I know I've heard Errol Spence Jr. say, he can switch it on and switch it off, but you still got to get your spirit up. You saw Jermell Charlo in the fight with Castano. He didn't seem like he had that old pit bull thing that he had going on in his other fights. and I think it affected him. Maybe having the baby and softening up a little bit. Because when you have kids, they tend to make you think outside of anything that's violent. You know what I'm saying? But I think Errol Spence Jr. is locked and loaded. I think Manny Pacquiao is locked and loaded. I think he's going to get in a lot of good shots, but I think in the end he's going to get hurt in the fight at some point. And if he don't get knocked out cold and he just take a beating for 12 rounds, I don't see him fighting. I see him retiring, and with nobody else, nothing else to prove. It will, I think he won't take a fight with Terrence Crawford. I know he said that he still wanted to fight Terrence Crawford after Errol Spence Jr. Let's say he win against Errol Spence Jr. He said he want to fight Terrence Crawford next, but I don't see that. If he did, it would be probably a year later, or it'd probably be a year or 2 years later. So, what I'm saying? That's probably improbable. And I just can't see. I just can't see Errol Spence Jr. Letting Manny Pacquiao off the hook. He did take it easy on Lamont Peterson, and he does have a tendency to cruise in fights, and just kind of box lightly once he got the fight in the bag. So who knows? But we'll see how it all plays out. This has been Pool Counter Boxing. Smash that like button for your boy, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.